Gail Cruikshank is the Talent Director at the Greater St. Cloud Development Corporation. She joins me now. Morning, Gail.
Good morning, Jay.
All right, so today we are talking about recruiting and retention tips that are working in a tight labor market. Yeah, this is very important. You want to keep those workers you have, don't you?
Well, absolutely. And again, although jobs are very, very high, I mean, there's over 8,300 jobs on JobSpot right now in our central Minnesota area. And Minnesota just released some data that there's 0.6 unemployed people for every job opening that we have in the state. There's still lots of great successes that are happening that I just thought it might be helpful for our employers to hear that there are things that you might want to try. And I think the real key is try something different. If something's not working and you're not getting those employees that you're looking for, then you got to mix it up a little bit and be willing to maybe try something you haven't had to try in the past to get to those job seekers that are looking to find employment with you.
Okay, and what are some of the tips? What are some of the recruiting tips you got for people?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I like to stress a lot is, again, ensure all of your employees are a part of the interviewing and recruiting process. So again, it's not just left up to that HR manager to be the sole bearer of finding people for your organization. It starts from the very top, CEO, president of the company, to the newest part-time associate that you might have. Making recommendations, making referrals, making suggestions, talking about your company out in the community. All of those things help get that excitement and that attention to your company, which then results in good applicant flow coming into your organization.
How should you, I wanted to ask, so how do you involve people? Because not everybody's going to be a part of the interview process. How do you get people involved in doing the hiring if they're not directly doing it?
Well, and again, you're right. It doesn't have to be the true interviewing process. It can just be referring people. It can just be talking about your company and saying, hey, this is a great place to work if you're looking for a change or looking for a job. However, some employees really do like being a part of the selection process. And it's actually great to get that perspective and that insight and allow that job seeker to ask questions of people that are truly doing the work for that particular job. And so there's a variety of ways to get them engaged. The other aspect is referral bonuses. So instead of doing that attraction bonus, that recruitment bonus to somebody you've never met before, maybe you spend your money as a company on your tried and true employees and give them recognition and reward for bringing great people to the organization. So there's been some history and some data that shows that that's a much more successful retention initiative than giving people money up front. And then obviously they might be jumping from job to job.
Right. So then they feel like they've got some incentive to bring people on board because there's a financial incentive for them.
Absolutely. And again, your employees know what the job entails. They know what your company's like. They know who's going to be successful there for the most part. So why not utilize them? And again, make them feel good, appreciate them for all that they've done for your organization so far.
Yeah, that makes sense. So continue. What are some of the other tips you've got for us?
Well, the other thing that I wanted to highlight is look at your recruitment and interview process. Is it simple? Is it efficient? Many times I'll ask an employer, I said, have you applied for a job at your company lately? Encourage you to do that. And what does it feel like? Is it efficient? Is it friendly? Is it engaging? Many times that we get caught in so many requirements and so many processes and steps for our job seekers that they simply give up. Many employers have told me lately that they're finding greater success if they just simply say, interested in finding out more about WJON as a company for an employment, call me or text me. And then they just have a very high-level introductory conversation. And then if it is a potential good fit, then they encourage them to fill out the application. So again, thinking about it differently, obviously job seekers have lots of opportunities and they are in the driver's seat. So being open to looking at maybe some ways that might be more inviting to your organization might benefit you in getting a higher applicant flow coming through your jobs.
Yeah, that does make sense to try to get people to feel like there is an inviting part of it. And the idea of actually applying for a job in your own company, I don't think a lot of people have thought of that, to kind of get that feel for.
Right. None of us do. And we're all so close to it that sometimes, or have a good friend do it and that'll be honest with you, because sometimes our job processes and the job requirements were created quite a few years ago, perhaps. And again, do you really need all of those job requirements? Again, we like to, hire for attitude, train for skill. Many of our employers want to train their own folks anyway. So let's look at finding the right person, the right culture, the right fit. And maybe you don't need to have all those job requirements listed that really might turn off that job seeker from applying at your company.
How important is social media for people that are looking for jobs and also for employers?
I think it's huge for everybody involved, because frankly, that's where a lot of those passive job seekers, they're scrolling through their social media feed. If they're seeing something that's interesting to them, that's a great way to, again, attract employees that maybe weren't out just looking on JobSpot or Indeed or other job portals at that time. So I think it's important for employers to tell their story and do it in a fun and engaging way. So showing employees having fun, showing them doing the job, get a picture of what it's like within that company. I think that really is that silent salesperson for that employer to be able to attract people that might just be scrolling. And also, it's a great way for job seekers to learn about the culture of a business. So again, what are you showing on social media as an employer? And again, that's a very important aspect of recruitment, no matter if you want it to be or not.
It feels like in the last year and a half, we've talked about this next point quite a bit, is that even though a lot of jobs are going to have some requirements, some specific preferences that they're looking for, do you need to have all of those qualifications right now?
I would say I would really challenge employers to look at them because, again, a lot of times job seekers will say, well, if I don't have all 8 of these requirements, I'm not going to apply to the job because I don't have a chance. And I always tell job seekers, if you have a majority of them, definitely apply. And that's where I say, really take a look at, do you need all of those job requirements? Or as an employer, might you limit that and write your job postings in a way that are engaging and really interesting? I tell you, when I look at JobSpot, some of these jobs they're not very interesting. The titles, I wouldn't have any idea what the job is by reading the title, or have any interest in applying for it. So again, that might be the technical title within your company's payroll system or setup, but that doesn't need to be the title that you use to post your job. You want to post a job that's got a title and a description that gets people excited, that says, hey, I want to work there. That sounds like a great place that I can use my skill, learn a little more skill, and then be able to have a great environment.
Right. So try to simplify these job titles. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
What are you offering for succession planning, advancement, professional development? Some companies have offered scholarships if they are looking at the student population. Many employers are paying for education for new employees, or even employees that want to continue to develop their skills. So you have to have, some skin in the game on both sides. But right now, frankly, the employers have to be the ones willing to give up some additional, either benefits, incentives to really attract this talent that does want to come to work, but they want to find it on their terms as well.
Because it's still a job seeker market.
It's definitely a job seeker market. And again, I encourage employers to think about, can you hire part-time people? Can you hire high school students? Many people are looking to work reduced hours. They don't want to work 40 or 50 hours a week anymore. COVID has really changed people's minds as far as maybe things have become more important to them. And so they're changing those priorities and wanting something maybe a little bit less stressful, a little bit less time commitment, but also want to still give back and work in the community. Students are also very much an untapped population. If you can hire high school students, what a great way to, again, get a part-time worker that wants to learn about an industry or career, you might be able to, again, grow and develop them into a regular employee once they graduate from high school or from college. So many times people shy away from our high school population or our college students, but that is our future workforce. And if you can get them early, that's a great way to, again, nurture them and build them into a career within your organization.
Gail, we are running out of time here, but I know there's a lot of resources for people out there, employers and for employees. What do you suggest people do in regards to resources?
There are a number of resources, Jay. And again, if you're not correct, if you haven't connected with Career Force, which is the old Workforce Center, and then also Career Solutions, which is a partner in the Career Force, they have so many ways to connect you to job seekers if you're an employer, or if you're a job seeker, they have lots of tools and resources to help you get that job. So again, definitely check them out. Again, the other thing I wanted to highlight was, as last comment, is benefits. You know, have you checked with your employees of what are the benefits that matter? You know, sometimes us as an employer always think, well, I'm giving you all the perfect benefits. Well, if you haven't asked your associates, you might not be hitting the target. And the one I want to really share is childcare. If you have not polled your employees about, is childcare a challenge for you, then you're missing something there. We've got a couple companies in the community that are offering childcare resources, and they're seeing a great increase in retention and recruitment of employees. So lots of great resources. Certainly check out JobSpot as well. GreaterSt.Cloud.com is our GSDC website, and St. Cloud Shines is where you'll find JobSpot and a ton of resources about our community.
Excellent. Gail, thanks as always. We'll talk to you again next month.
All right. Have a great day.
That's Gail Cruikshank, Greater St. Cloud Development Corporation. She's the talent director there. stcloudshines.com. Good place to start looking for all the jobs that are available, and the GSDC website as well.